up repeatedly and start the mantra. Laye sambodhayet, call yourself back. Vikshiptam cha shamayet punaha. So the second problem is vikshepa. Vikshepa means distraction. Distraction and laya. Laya, resolution of the mind in sleep. Vikshepa, various kinds of distractions. So, in what to do when there is sleep? Wake yourself up. What to do when there are distractions? Bring the mind back. And the distractions, he says, are of two types. One is like a flight of wonderful fancy. Suddenly one stops meditating and goes on a nice trip. Oh, I'm somewhere, I'm on holiday, I'm in a garden, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And that's one thing. Well, some thoughts that make us smile, positive, wonderful recollections or feelings. Then of course the opposite is what? Difficult, challenging emotions. They can also come up during meditation. So he talks about how to deal with both of these. So he says, Sakashayam vijaniyat. Know the mind to be along with the unconscious. That is called kashaya. Sampraptva na vichalayet. When difficult thoughts come up, do not try to go to the bottom of it and think, whose problem is this? Did I get this from mother? Did I get this from father? All these things makes no sense. Right now you are meditating and this is a distraction and it has to be handled. And then that is the negative one. The positive one, naswadayet rasam tatra nissango prajnaya bhavet. Aswadanam, rasa aswadanam na kuryat. Rasa aswadanam means some nice experience happens in meditation or nice thoughts come. Don't start going along with it. Stay separate. And so even in the non-meditating moments, that is the idea, to stay separate from all this. And Vedanta will give a few pointers, but we have to do work because it's a psychological issue. We have to rely on all the tricks and the methodologies given therein. Everything works. Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. Is it more important to spend our time here on contemplation / Vedanta or on Sanskritam? Nice try, folks. Yeah. What is the Sanskritam for? What is the Sanskritam for? Vedanta. Everything is for Vedanta. Breakfast is for what? Vedanta. Lunch is for what? Vedanta. Everything is for Vedanta. There is no separation. Okay? Yeah. Sanskrit teacher will expect all of you in the class tomorrow. I love the chanting classes. There is a gap because we are not told the meaning of the sutras, suktas that we chant. Can we include the meaning? Can it be short and summarized so that we can connect more to what we are chanting? It might be difficult because there is a lot to cover and so much to learn. You can request, no problem. Otherwise, there is, what should I say, Swami Gugalananda. uh, you can take his help, okay? Yeah. You can request, no problem. If there is time, it can happen. Otherwise, do some of your own homework and relate to the chants. Is time real? Is time an illusory construct of the mind? How did time come into existence? Time came into existence when space came into existence. That's why we call it time-space matrix, space-time continuum. They go together always. Space and time are a package deal. It is not as real as Atma. It has a certain mithya reality, in the sense that we say, Tasmat Brahmanah, from that Brahman, Etasmad Atmanah, which is in fact this Atma, from that Brahman, which is this Atma, Akashah Sambhutah. Akasha, space, was born. And then what is not mentioned, time was also born. And now what is the nature of that which is born? Mithya, subject to death, impermanent. Time is a construct. We see this very clearly. Before the Industrial Revolution, how was it? Everybody just worked at home, and you could see that somebody making, keeping sheep at home. They would shear the sheep, wash the yarn, wash the fur of the sheep, and then make that into yarn, color the yarn, knit the sweater, take it to the weekend market, Saturday market would be there, take it to the Saturday market, sell everything, and then buy more whatever things you wanted for the next week for the craft, buy also your groceries and come back. This is how it was. Then they had all these inventions, weaving machine called cotton gin, all these things. And it was so expensive, everybody could not have it. A few people owned the methods of production, and then it had to be kept in centralized places. Centralized places means I can't go whenever I want. There should be some time, there should be some discipline. So what is that? 9 to 5, office. This office time wasn't there before. It's all new. Weekday, weekend, we didn't have any such concept. We have a different concept of time. And with the colonization, with the Industrial Revolution, we see that the same office culture, 9 to 5 culture, is there all over the world now. The pandemic disrupted it a little bit, but it is still a construct. That's how it came into existence. How does karma work in this tradition? If I reach a certain level of awareness in this life, is it still possible that I could be born as an insect in the next life? Or is there a kind of a progressive evolution of the soul? Anything is possible. Insect, I don't know, but see, we have to see why this human body. Why do we need this human body? What is it for? You know the answer. What is it for? Moksha. Jnanam. So, this has been given because there was some desire in a previous life for this moksha. That's why an appropriate body was given this time around. Now, if I waste this body and I am not interested in anything else, I'm interested in everything else except moksha, then anything is possible. You don't have to be born as a human being, because other desires take precedence, and the strongest desire, people say it's the last desire, but the last desire is the one that is the strongest in the heart. So the strongest desire comes to claim or comes to order the next round of the body. The strongest desire is ice cream, not moksha. Then what will one be born as? Lactobacillus. Okay. Bacterium. Always in the ice cream. Because karma has a sense of humor. Bhagavan has a sense of humor. Once I was working for some interfaith program Puja Swamiji wanted to put. It was a very big conference, and these people somewhere, this group had the addresses of a number of religious leaders. Swamiji said, go get the addresses, write to them and ask them. 2 months I worked with this group. Not a single address they coughed up. And they just gave me, they would not say no. They would give you the runaround. You would go to the office and sit there the whole day. Yes, this one has to come, that one has to come, this one has to approve, that one has to approve. It was red tape all over. And nothing happened. Then they were also coming to meet Swamiji, and I also happened to be there. Swamiji came to Delhi and I was going to meet, and they were right there. And so I thought this is a good idea to tell Swamiji nothing has happened, so he could talk directly to them. So I went in wherever he was staying in the hotel. These people were waiting outside, and I went to have private audience with him. And he just came out, because I think I had become a little frustrated by this time. 2 months of constantly trying to get this. So I said, Swamiji, I told him the story, and I said, why are people so territorial? And he thought, he was very silent, and he just was touching his beard, thinking some more. Then I thought, okay, what is he going to say? Something very profound is going to come out. And I was just all ears, everything just sitting there. Something, because he's silent for so long. I thought maybe I should just change the subject or what it was. And then finally the answer came. He said, why are people so territorial? That was my question. He said, there are 2 possibilities. Either they were dogs in the last life, and so that samskara of protecting things is still there. Anybody goes near to anything that they own, that kind of a feeling comes. Or, what's the other possibility? They are getting ready to become dogs in the next life. So that answered my question. If I had a question like you, this answered my question. Because we are so influenced by Western learning, like there is an evolution, and like what is that man's name? Darwin. You have like a Darwinian kind of a trajectory. Here it's not like that. But generally it is hoped that when one comes to the Vedanta, to the study of the Bhagavad Gita, there is not much going back. Maybe there is Shraddha, but not much effort has been done. This is what Arjuna asks in the 6th chapter. Ayatihi Shraddhayopetah Yogad Chalitamanasah Kangatin Tata Gacchati Chinnabhram Iva Nashyati Kim. I see he doesn't say this could be me. You know how sometimes you don't want to, especially if it's some question of mental illness or something like that, or some emotional problem, you don't want to say you are having it. You go to some expert you meet at a party or something, and what do you say? I have a friend who has this condition. Or suppose somebody has this condition. So Arjuna doesn't say it's him. Suppose somebody has this condition. What is the condition? Ayatihi, did not make enough effort. Did not make enough effort, put enough effort into the study. But Shraddhaya upetaha, full of Shraddha. Yoga Chalitamanasah. From this Karma Yoga, from this Jnana Yoga, what happened? He fell off. He or she fell off, got derailed in the pursuit. Kangatim Krishna Gacchati. What will be the fate of this jiva? Him or her, what will happen to them in the next life? Will they just disappear like the fog? What will happen to them? And Lord Krishna says, if the desire for Vedanta is maintained, then they will have even better life as a human being. Shuchinam Shrimatam Gehe Yoga Bhrashtha Abhijayate Athava Yoginam Eva Kule Bhavati Dhimatam. So that person, that jiva, from the last life is born to Shuchinam Shrimatam Gehe, in the house of people who are well off. Well off is important because then there is no burden for this jiva to take care of the siblings, take care of the parents and work and help, etc. Well off doesn't mean a lot, but they are financially self-sufficient. Shuchinam. Shuchinam is having mental purity. There is no big load of raga, dvesha on the part of the parents either. Yoga bhrashtha, the one that has fallen off this jnana yoga or karma yoga, ubhaya bhrashtha jayate. Athava, otherwise, he is or she is born to jnanis. Like Ashtavakra. Ashtavakra's parents were always attending Vedanta classes. And then the poor mother-to-be, carrying this fellow in her womb, would feel sleepy in the class, would just try to nod off. The baby was listening. And the baby thought, if this lady goes to sleep, I will also go to sleep. I won't be, because I'm not hearing with my ears. I'm just hearing because of her. Her attention is making me hear. And so each time she slept, he would kick her, give a big kick, wake up. And then one story, Ashtavakra means 8 bends. So one story is that the father was also there in the class, the to-be father, to-be mother, both were there, and whenever the teacher asked a question, he would give the wrong answer. The child would cringe in the stomach, and each time it went like this, the bone, atrophied in that position. So I think he gave 8 wrong answers, so he had 8, he was born with 8 bends in the body, but brilliant, almost a jnani. He was born like a jnani. Why? The parents were very close to being jnanis. So therefore, if you are interested in Vedanta and you fan the flames and keep this going, you will not be born as an insect. Promise. Okay. Krishna's promise, not mine. Bhagavan Krishna's promise. How to deal with parents who are always fighting and cannot stand each other. They are stubborn and refuse to follow any advice. How to keep calm composure while being there. It should be while not being their punching bag. While being their punching bag means you don't need to be their punching bag. You can't deal with such parents. You love them from a distance. That's all you do. And then you can, because you can't change them. How can you change them? You can't change them. It's unfortunate. So if they are fighting all the time, you just say Om Namaha. You take care of your inner child. Whatever reactions you are having when they are fighting is not you, it's the inner child. It's when you were a child, whatever reactions you had when you saw them fight, whether it was fear or terror or feeling alienated, whatever it was, then all that has to be managed now. You have to soothe the inner child and say, I'm here to take care of you, let them fight, it's okay. So you love them from a distance. You don't try to take sides, you don't try to be used as a punching bag or otherwise. If they start to say, oh, it's because of you we are fighting, you just firmly but pleasantly say, I think that's your perception. Just smile and walk away. That's all we can do. How to see Ishvara in unpleasant people and disturbing situation. That's how, you just practice. Practice. If you say the whole universe is Ishvara, it will include cockroaches, it will include scorpions, snakes, and other bugging things, including bugging people. Yeah. It will include all of them. And so, when I am confronted with difficult situations, which I cannot change and I have no say over, I know it is Ishvara. That doesn't mean I get bitten by the scorpion. The scorpion is good in its place. I am okay in my place. I have to be strong to not seek validation from people. The more I seek validation and approval from everybody, the more I become a slave to them. I am not able to be asanga, objective, uninvolved. That is how I have to learn, slowly, to see not only the good, but what I consider difficult to be Ishvara. Doesn't trust lead to expectations? And don't expectations lead to hurt? How does one find the courage to trust again and again? Yes, trust leads to expectations. Expectations need not lead to hurt. We just say expectations lead to hurt. Why should they lead to hurt? I have freedom to have expectations, don't I? Yes, I am free to have expectations from somebody. Now that somebody, do they have free will or not? Yes, everybody has free will. So then they have a choice whether to meet my expectations, A, or not meet my expectations. So they are free enough to exercise the choice. They can either meet my expectations or they can say, you know what, I'm not going to do this. So when they decline to meet my expectation, yes, there may be hurts, there may be disappointments, there may be fears, but I have to understand this fact that this is not about me. Their not fulfilling the expectations is not about me, it's about their own inability. I don't have to take it personally and think I am unloved. It may not have anything to do with me. It's about their inability, their incapacity, and their unwillingness. It may not have anything to do with me at all. And this I have to understand. I have to see this very, very clearly, number one. Number two, how to trust again. That's why put the trust in that which is infallible. We don't say Bhagavan is infallible. We say that which is infallible is Bhagavan. That which is unchanging and infallible is Bhagavan. And so, what do? I don't put the trust again in the same places which hurt me. I put the trust in that which is incapable of hurting me, which is Bhagavan. No, Bhagavan has hurt me, Bhagavan has done bad things to me. This is again our own projection. This we have to clear through so many of the methods we have been discussing. Vedanta teaches about knowing yourself, which is not the body, mind, ego. But I fear that I may start identifying with Vedanta, creating an ego from the identity of Vedanta. Yeah, what to do with that? Yes, very good question. This is called enlightenment ahankara. I have studied Kathopanishad, I have studied Kenopanishad, I have done this, I have done that. I know this, I know that. Now I am a Vedantin. What are you? You are Vedanta out. I am Vedant in. I am in. So, we have a saying for that. The person gave up everything and then took to a life of sannyasa. But then kept on saying, I have given up wife, this fellow, I have given up money, no bank account, I have given up friends, I have given up job, I have given up this, I have given up that. And his teacher said, that's all well and good. When are you going to give up the giver upper? Yena tyajasi tatyaja. By which ego, ahankara, you have given all this up, that you give up. That's why even the sannyasi is told, chant the Rudram all the time, let it keep going in the mind. This is the only prayer allowed for sannyasis. Other prayers optional. This is the only one that is recommended. Or chant it at least once a day. If you can't do it all the time, chant it once a day. Because there is no ego remover better than Sri Rudram. I told you the first 11 Anuvakas, everything is Bhagavan, dried riverbed Bhagavan, dried leaf Bhagavan, and greenery is Bhagavan, everything is Bhagavan. If everything is Bhagavan, is there room for me? Yes, but as Bhagavan, not as a separate entity. The ego is punctured. It's blown up, and first it's punctured completely. This too is Bhagavan, that too is Bhagavan, I am nothing, everything is Bhagavan. Or you can say, I am everything, I am everything, I am everything. That's also another way to blow up or puncture this very fragile ahankara. So that is why the Rudram is recommended. I practice meditation daily, listen to Vedanta and Gita. Somewhere during the day, I lose that understanding. In some minutes, all feels clear and alive. Soon after, the mind drifts back to old pain, fears, self-doubt. Is this the impurity of the inner instrument? You don't need to call it impurity, because there itself, what are we doing? We are judging whatever there is. So if I say I have impurity, I'll feel bad about myself. So we can say they are simply raga dveshas. We can just say it's pain. And the pain is always a teacher. Pain is a very good Vedanta teacher. Pain brings you to Vedanta many times. So make that pain into a teacher. Convert that pain into the teacher. Ask the pain what is it that I need to look at? What is it that you are trying to tell me? What is it that you are trying to teach me? And so then make attempts for the pain to be resolved. Therapy helps, yoga helps, writing it out helps, so many other things. Inner child work helps. All this, when you help yourself with that, then the clarity will not be lost. Whatever you are studying will be with you. So, am I simply running away from life? No, you are not running away. You are taking the classes, you say. So, you are very much here. I also feel that when I start experiencing inner peace, I begin to grow distant from people. Is that detachment or emotional sensitivity? How do I know I am truly on the right path? How can I live without attachment and stay connected to life? This is $1 million question. Everybody has it. Because how to live in the Paramarthika and Vyavaharika realities at the same time. The empirical reality of strife, the empirical reality of action and result of action, and the absolute reality where one is not at all an actor and one is not subject to becoming a bhokta, the receiver of actions. How to almost combine the two, not combine, but how to live with that awareness of oneself, how to live in this world. It's not easy. In the beginning it will feel challenging and like a boat, small boat in the ocean. When there is a rainstorm, what happens to that small boat? It gets tossed around here and tossed around there and all over the place, and it loses its stability. It may even capsize, throwing all the people out, whoever was in the boat. So one is like that boat in the beginning, and one strengthens the staying power. The muscles of staying are strengthened by the by. And how to do that? We are keeping on talking about it. And there is inner peace, but the inner peace, grow distance from people means you may talk less. It's okay, it's not growing distance. It is, there is a difference between distance and disconnection. We are not looking for disconnection. In fact, the whole life is already disconnection, alienation from people. So this disconnection and dissociation is not something to be looked for, to be gained, to be experienced. That is not what we are rooting for. What we want is a sense of connection. The opposite of that we want. I want to know that I am connected to everything. So the disconnection or the dissociation comes again from some childhood samskara or previous life samskara. We don't need to analyze it, but there is a upaya, a remedy for that. And what is the remedy? You have to change the meditation a little bit for yourself. Before you meditate, before you do mantra japa, you spend a little more time in the preparation. Feel the body. Like the kind of meditation we did today. Where am I? What am I doing? I'm running all the time. I'm not in one place. I'm always on. The mind is constantly on. The body is on. I haven't stopped. I stop. I feel the body. I have arrived. I am in this body. I am at home with myself. And before you meditate, you just feel the fingers, wiggle the toes, feel the fingers. Shrug the shoulders back and forth a little bit. Move the neck side to side. Anything and feel the asana on which you are sitting. Okay, I am sitting on this. Locate yourself. Okay, I am sitting on the third row somewhere. You can say like that to yourself. I am sitting here in this lecture hall, in the middle of this room. This is where I am. And that's why we do all this kind of sensory experiences as much as possible we have to do. Like feeling the cool air come in through the nose when you breathe, feeling the warm air exit. These are all having, there is a purpose. Once you objectify the sense of touch, then this disconnection will not be there. There will be a sense of where you are, where you begin as an entity, as an empirical entity. Otherwise, as Satchidananda, there is no beginning or end. But as an empirical entity, where you begin, where you end, all this is very, very clear. From that place you meditate. So do a little more, just 2 minutes, 3 minutes before of this any kind of an embodying enterprise, exercise. So when you have this kind of an embodying experience, then this disconnection will not be there. This also we have done. If I understand correctly, in the Gita Bhashya, there is a criticism of rituals recommended in the first portion of the Vedas because their purpose is to fulfill desires, not liberation. And the pujas belonging to that, to the some part of the Vedas, to the first part maybe, and then would be a more and the pujas belonging to the second part of the Vedas would be a more mature option. There are no pujas in the second part of the Veda. Okay, there's only upasana. We talked about the characterization, the categorization. First we have Samhita is the ritual portion, Samhita, Brahmana, Aranyaka and Upanishad. So the Upanishad has some advanced meditations, that is, it doesn't have puja. From the point of view of the knowledge path, what would be the difference, some kind of difference? What would be the difference between the two types of rituals? There is no criticism. It's just that there are two different kinds of lifestyles with two different kinds of ends. The first portion of the Veda is for desire fulfillment. And who doesn't have desires? Everybody has desires. I better fulfill it in a dharmic way. So the first portion of the Veda makes sure that you are ready for Vedanta by making you sick of fulfilling desires. So in fact it is helping you to come to Vedanta. So there is no criticism as such. It's just shown that there is the Anubandha Chatushtaya for both is very different. What is Anubandha Chatushtaya? A fourfold analytical tool of how we judge each text. So every text has to have a subject matter, Vishaya. Subject matter should be there. And for whom is the subject matter? The audience should be there. So subject matter, audience. Audience is called Adhikari. Who is qualified to read this? Who is the audience? Subject matter, Vishaya, audience, Adhikari. And then why will I read this book if I don't know what I am going to get out of it? What am I getting out of it? What is that? Prayojana, the purpose. What is the purport of this book? What is it going to do for me? And then also, between the prayojana and the book, there must be some connection. What is the connection between the book and the prayojana? So this is called Sambandha. This is Anubandha Chatushtaya. So if we apply the logic of these fourfold tools to the Vedas, first and the second portion, you will see that it's not meant for the same person at all. What is the Vishaya? Desire fulfillment in one, desire removal. Seeing the mithyatvam of the desire in the second portion. Vishaya is completely different, opposite, correct? Who is the adhikari in the first one? Karta, bhokta, pramata. Who is the adhikari in the second one? Akarta, abhokta, apramata. Completely opposite. And then what is the prayojana? Desire fulfillment is the prayojana. And then here what is the prayojana? Fulfillment without desire is the prayojana. Completely different. What is the sambandha between the book and the prayojana? Pratipadaka pratipadya sambandha. And then what is the sambandha? This is in the Vedanta. In the first portion of Veda, what is the sambandha? The sambandha is based on iti kartavyata. Iti kartavyata means it's not enough to just read the book. What do you need to do? Actually do the rituals, perform the rituals. It's performatory in nature. And so the two are having nothing to do with one another. That is what is shown. It's not a criticism. The one leads to the other. It helps in the growth. Then 3 are there. I hope we can finish this. Let's see. If the totality of the physical universe is Virat and the subtle universe is Hiranyagarbha, totality of the subtle universe, is the totality of all Atmas Brahman. There are no Atmas, there is only one Atma. Okay? Yeah. Totality of the physical universe, Virat, Hiranyagarbha. Virat includes Vishwa, the individual. Hiranyagarbha includes Taijasa. So, the totality of, we won't say all Atmas, the totality of everything is Brahman. Correct. Next. I have a question that brings some conflict, inner conflict. Why is Ishvara often presented or an external figure or entity as the one who delivers or dispenses karma? From the perspective of non-duality, this seems to be create a sense of separation. How is this reconciled in the tradition? Because these are two orders of reality. The order where I am fearing karma phala and the order of the whole manifest universe and Bhagavan giving karma phala, Bhagavan Ishvara as the creator, as the resolver, as the sustainer of the universe and manifest as various laws. This is on one order of reality when we see the manifest universe. However, the union between the Jiva and the Ishvara is there. It is not seen because one's understanding is shrouded in ignorance. Since the understanding is shrouded in ignorance, Bhagavan is seen as a scary being dispensing karma phala, doing this. But that duality Ishvara has not created, the tradition has not created, it is already experienced. It is already there in the heart. There is a separation between Jiva. Every Jiva I see myself as separate. There is a separation between Jiva and Jagat. There is a separation between Jiva and Ishvara. This is our capital. We come to the world like this. Out of this we have to crawl out of this kind of a thinking and to something that seems drastically foreign, completely opposite. So we help ourselves as long as we are in this body to prepare for the knowledge, because we are in this body, we are in this Jagat, we are subject to its rules, we are subject to all the operations. So we can't confuse the two levels of reality. Once we have this knowledge, everything becomes one. We can continue to live here, and the so-called duality then becomes enjoyable. If you know mithya, it becomes entertaining. If you don't know mithya, you are under its spell. It makes you cry. Then, could you please elaborate on the nature of ahankara? The nature of the ahankara is such that it cannot be elaborated upon. Okay? Yeah. Is it the function of identification itself, which could come and go throughout the day? Yes, correct. Is it the same ahankara functioning in all the jivas? No. Different, because the ahankara, each ahankara is owning up the body, mind, sense complex of that particular jiva, because it's also owning up the karmas, or the vasanas, prarabdha karma, correct, inherent to the ahankara, working in each as though apparent individual, correct. So, the karma also it owns up. It owns up the body, mind, sense complex. It owns up the karma. It owns itself up as the agent. But the nice thing about the ahankara is it's like a modern day politicians. Why? They don't stand enquiry. If you start an enquiry, they will just resign and go away because they know there are many bones, not bones, what are they called? Skeletons in the cupboard. Ahankara is like that. You say, where is this ahankara? What is this ahankara? Shh, quiet, it goes away. Who, me? I'm not there. Because it doesn't have a leg to stand on. So once you begin Atma Vichara, inquiry into the I, this false I notion that is masquerading as the I, slowly wears itself out. It wears its welcome out. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah, Sarve Santu Niramayah, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kaschid Dukkha Bhag Bhaved, Asato Ma Sadgamaya, Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya, Mrityor Ma Amritangamaya. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.